Prince Albert Challenge Cup. It's Cambridge University and Oxford Brookes University. We had Oxford and Oxford Brookes. Today now it's Cambridge and Oxford Brookes. Really powerful start in these Cox Fours.
Oxford Brookes just effervescent in this regatta. This is a rivalry as old as time itself, and Brookes unfortunately have had the lion's share, unfortunately if you're a light blue, the lion's share of it in the last decade or so. And you can see here out to just the snappier of the two starts. They're difficult boats to get up to speed, the Cox Four. There's only 4 rowers, 4 blades, but they've also got the weight of the Cox to bring alongside them. So it's a good start this from Oxford Brookes, dynamic. And you've got to remember, when we're looking at these crews here, Matt, this is Brookes' B crew. Their A crew is also in a semi-final in this event.
Yeah, and from the Cambridge crew, this is not their sort of blue boat crew. 3 of these crew, the Cambridge guys, were in the third 8, didn't even get to race on the boat race course, so it's a real development crew from them. And one of the crew in the 2-seat of Cambridge, William Wauchop, he only started rowing less than 2 years ago. So to be on terms with the Brookes B crews for the sort of lower down the squad young men from Cambridge, 3 of them coming back, Rob Baker, their coach, tells me, for next year. They've really got to have a go now, and they are hanging on to Brookes.
Yeah, Cambridge had a stunning year, really, winning both the men's and the women's boat races. I have to admit, by surprise, I had Oxford down all the way, but they just produced remarkable performances on the day. And we know that racing mentality that Rob Baker cultivates season upon season. He's got consistency in the top job, and that means when his athletes join the programme, they know what to expect from a culture perspective. And you can see here Cambridge clinging on.
This is as the makings of a great race, doesn't it? And interesting to note, both crews are rigged in the non-conventional way. Usually you have a alternate left, right oar through the boat, and here in both cases the middle 2 have the oars on the same side. And sometimes you do that to get the athletes to combine more together. Maybe a less experienced athlete like Will in the 2-seat of the Cambridge boat benefits from being alongside the man in front, and it looks like they're both rowing pretty well. Brookes still have got the edge as they come through the halfway mark.
We've talked about Cambridge's racing mentality. You have to give some airtime to Brookes as well, who under Henry Bauhash-Webb and Richard Spratley, their programme has pound for pound become one of the best programmes on the planet, not just for student but for open racing, men and women. And we know how strong Brookes can be in the middle 1,000. They're one of the few boat clubs who I've seen find an extra gear out of almost nowhere in the middle of the race. And we've seen here, I think Brookes have broken clear now of Cambridge, and I think they are in control of the narrative and can write, to a certain extent, hopefully write their own scripts now.
Yeah, it's a nice moment for Brookes, isn't it? Because they have broken away, they've broken that connection to the Cambridge boat, and they are powering away with the sort of confidence that comes from that kind of move through the middle of the course, passing the Remenham club there. Tall order now for Cambridge to respond, and I think the Brookes crew, to me, look a little bit more powerful as well in the water. So Cambridge can't just do it through technique, they've also got to have some watts, and I think the confidence and the power in the Brookes crew is just a bit on the higher end.
Yeah, it's not just about the horsepower, I think, Matt. It's also about how they use that power in the water, the technique that they're taught right from joining the club up to when they graduate. The way in which they're told to deploy and employ the power is so symptomatic of a Brookes crew. And I think the way that they row, Henry will be watching this race, and I'm sure he'll be proud of how they're doing, because as I say, this is their 2nd boat in just the Prince Albert. We've already got Brookes crews deep into competitions elsewhere, so it could just be that you and I are watching another set of Brookes finals on Sunday. I'm
fascinated as well by what you say, Tom, about the kind of building the culture of a club and the ethos that they have, and obviously the team at Brookes have been there for a long time. Rob Baker at Cambridge came from coaching the women's crews into the men's crews, and then the club combined, and they've got a fantastic culture and ethos there of support and performance and encouragement. Really positive cultures in both clubs here. Today it looks like the Brookes B crew, well, it's their day against the Cambridge crew coming up through the system at Cambridge. One person who started rowing less than 2 years ago, I mean, to be in Henley racing in a race like this in the semi-finals and only have started rowing less than 2 years ago, that's pretty amazing stuff.
Well, culture is so important in performance sport, Matt. I mean, for my sins, I'm a Chelsea Football Club fan, and unfortunately you'll only need to look at Chelsea to realise that overturning those managers year on year, season on season, it's clearly not working. And the consistency that Brookes and Cambridge have had over the last decade in the top job means that we have every year an expectation that they're going to churn out quality crews, and Brookes just showing us exactly what it takes to compete at the top end of the Henley Royal Regatta.
Yeah, Brookes have been really incredibly impressive at the regatta across many events. For Cambridge, of course, the boat race is the premium event, and that's the one they really focus on. Talking to their coach today, Rob Baker, he's saying to me that they really had a great campaign to keep that momentum through the summer. So much is put into the boat race that after the race, oftentimes athletes go, you know, I really need to concentrate on my studies. It's hard to keep it going, but this year they've got a number of crews, men's and women's, here at Henley, which is great to see. Same with Oxford. So it's brilliant to see those boat race competitors coming to Henley. But it's the men of Oxford Brookes University, the B crew in this Prince Albert Potts Falls for students coming through the enclosures. The umbrellas have gone back down, the sun's coming out again, and looking forward to some more great racing. Cambridge responding finally, but Brookes firmly in control from the midway point in this race, Tom.
Yeah, perfectly balanced, perfectly executed that from Brookes. No surprise to see them row so maturely, and to have a B crew into the latter stages of this event just shows how strong that programme really is.
Respect for each, and there's the result of the Prince Albert Challenge Cup.